Yo, what's happening? Travis here with TravisStetzel.com, and just doing a quick video. This is for a lot of my coaching clients out there. Been a lot of questions coming in about the overhead squat. A lot of people having issues with the overhead squat, and you know, a couple of years ago, I couldn't even do an overhead squat with the bar, and that was due to mobility issues in my shoulders, my lower back, and my hips were super tight. So if you're somebody that's super tight, you don't have a lot of mobility within your hips especially, you can't get ass to grass on a regular squat, you're going to be having a lot of issues with the overhead squat, alright? So that's one of the main, number one things you got to make sure you do is loosen up your hips, alright? So a lot of sumo squatting, you can just hold that position, okay, just really loosen those hips up, but a lot of hip flexor stretches, low back stretches, loosen up the hamstrings, all that good stuff. Just make sure your hips are mobile. Okay, now next issue that we run into with the overhead squat is obviously being able to get in a comfortable overhead position with the barbell. Alright, a lot of people have issues with tight upper back, okay, even weak upper back. So one of the main things I start out with is just shoulder dislocators. So you can grab yourself a band, and then you can move up to a PVC pipe. A band is kind of nice to start off with, because you got a little play with the band, okay? So if you're real super tight, that band will be able to, you know, give you a little leeway to move around. But you want to start adding these in to your warm-up, just loosening those shoulders up. A lot of people, they're not going to be able to get all the way around. Their mobility, they might stop right here. So you need to work yourself to the point where you can get all the way around. Start inching in on the band, gives you more tension. A lot of times your chest is really tight. It's gonna, just the whole shoulder girdle is just extremely tight. So a couple different things that you can do there to improve your mobility. Now, once you get a little more mobile with your hips, shoulders, what I like to start off with is just an unweighted overhead squat. So you can use a PVC pipe. I use a band a lot of the time. So you just get in that overhead position. And what's important about this is you're in a good overhead position. So arms are going to be slightly behind the ears. Squeeze your shoulder blades. It's going to keep everything in nice and tight. What you don't want to do is bring those shoulders to the ears, okay? When I first started off, I used to shrug my shoulders up like this to do my overhead squat. And what I found was when you're doing higher rep sets, your shoulders are going to tire out very quickly, alright? So what you kind of want to imagine in this overhead position is you're squeezing your shoulder blades, but then flare your lats out. That's going to also lock everything in. So flare your lats out, it's going to keep everything nice and tight. So we're in that overhead squat position, and then just work your overhead squats from here. You've got to really focus on pushing your hips back, staying back on your heels, getting nice and low, keeping your chest up. Good overhead squat position. Alright, so you can work unweighted overhead squats. That'll help you build up more mobility. And just working that movement, just kind of greasing the groove, you're going to get better at it. Alright? Now, next step up from there, I usually don't go to the bar yet with people. I go to an overhead squat with the band. Alright? So I got Performax bands. Alright? So go ahead and step in your band. Pull your band up, press overhead. Now, you're in that overhead squat position. Now you've got a little bit of tension to work with. Okay, so we're doing the same thing. Just working that overhead squat, just with band resistance. Okay? You start to get stronger in that position, then we can go up to a barbell. So you're always going to want to start off unweighted barbell, obviously. Right there. You want to be able to snatch it up into position, but your hands are going to be fairly wide, as you can see. Okay, so again, you're in that good overhead position. Don't want to be in front, don't want to be too far back. Right above, right above. So, I'm squeezing my shoulder blades, flaring my lats out. Nice tight position. Go ahead and work your overhead squat. Boom. Right there. Those are your basics. I'm not a professional at overhead squats. I'm still working at getting better at them. They're still work in progress. But like I said, a couple years ago, I couldn't even do an overhead squat with 95 pounds, let alone a empty barbell. My mobility was way off, and you know, it just takes time to build that stuff up, but that's the number one. Got to get the mobility, and then just work the groove, or grease the groove with the movements, unweighted movements, with the bands, PVC pipes, whatever, unweighted bar, and you can start throwing some weight on the bar and working weighted overhead squats. So just some basic tips for you to build up to that movement. Overhead squats, great movement if you can do it right. All right, so just build up to it, hammer them out. Live aggressive, get strong. I'm out.